what is it like being a Jamaican in the state of Washington in the United States? Hi, I'm Xavier Murphy, the founder of Jamaicans.com. And today I talk to Wayne McFarlane, a Jamaican who is living in the state of Washington, way out west in the United States. Wayne, how you doing, sir?
How you doing, Xavier? Good to see you, man.
Yeah, I know. We go way, way back. This
Oh
is my,
yes. Oh yes.
I can't ask which school, but you're have been watching this. No, we go back to Jamaica College. He's
Yes,
my
sir.
a former classmate and a good friend.
Yes. The
So
true blue.
yes, true blue indeed. We don't have to ask what you represent. Even wait. Both of us are in gray today, and
Yes.
we're blue brothers.
There you go. Oh man.
So let's get started. Which part of Jamaica you're from?
Well, born and raised in Kingston.
All right.
To be specific, I grew up in Washington Gardens. That's off the Washington Boulevard, adjacent to Duane Park, Patrick City, right there.
All right.
Um,
I ironically live in Washington, the state of Washington,
Washington.
and
Yeah. Only you
full
could make
circle.
that connection.
No, what's funny is tell you a story. I lived on Miami Drive in Independence City, and
Okay.
then moved to Miami.
Right.
So
Wow. Yeah.
so when you moved to the United States, tell me an experience that was like a culture shock for you.
Well, the most shocking thing for me was, just seeing the sheer volume of people.
Okay.
And that was my first time visiting New York. That was crazy. Yeah. I had no idea so many people could fit in such a small area.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But the journey started in Florida.
Okay.
I left Jamaica and came to Florida. And then from Florida, I went to Japan. And
Wow.
worked in Japan for about a year, and then left Japan, came back stateside, and I was in New York. And then from New York, I went to Dallas, Texas, and then from Dallas, now I'm in Washington.
So they're moving you further
Yeah.
and further west.
Yes. Next stop, Hawaii.
That probably you can say to them, make this a last.
Right.
So out there I know you're in the Seattle area, right?
Yes, I'm in Seattle.
So do you get any questions when you say to people, I am from Jamaica? Any like surprise, funny questions?
Well, usually they ask the question. The question would be, so you have an accent. Where are you from? They can't identify it. They know it's a Caribbean accent. And, you'd let them know, I'm from Jamaica. And believe it or not, a lot of people, as small as we are, almost everyone know who we are. The first question they'll ask most of the time is, so can you make jerk chicken?
So can you?
Yes, I actually do make jerk chicken. And I tell you this. Actually, they were saying to me, well, they've never had Jamaican jerk chicken. Most of the friends at work. So I decided I was gonna make some jerk chicken and take to work one day. And let me tell you, Xavier, I thought as soon as it was put out on the table, it was inhaled. I had no idea where it went. And this was a potluck, you know. Everyone brought their food, you know.
So they ignored
That culture.
everything else was ignored.
Everything else was ignored. The jerk chicken disappeared.
Uh,
Yeah.
so we know who they're counting on for the next potluck.
Well, there you go. But I think I'll switch it next time and, you know, give them another Jamaican favorite, like, you know, some rice and peas and curry chicken or something like that, you know.
So with that said, is there a place out there that you get your Jamaican food fix, and I should say, and your Jamaican groceries or anything like that? Or you're doing Amazon and family and friends?
No, there are places here, few and far between, that offer the Jamaican culture, Jamaican food. And a lot of them are not really Jamaican, but they they advertise as Jamaican. um, so what my all of my supplies and ingredients, it comes usually from Florida.
Okay.
You know, yeah. And
Okay.
what you find is you have a lot of islanders here, but they are not Caribbean islanders, they're Pacific islanders. They're Polynesian, Indonesian, Tongan, and the Asian community. They eat a lot of the same food that we eat. So you find that if you shop at the Asian supermarkets, you can get pretty much all you need in
Okay.
terms of your Jamaican supply, you know, your grown provisions. They
Okay.
have all of that, you know.
Nice,
Yep.
nice, nice. So the community out there in terms of the Caribbean communities, there are strong Caribbean communities, there are organization, events, anything like that?
No. No, that's to be created in the future, but it's a very small Jamaican community. And the thing is, everyone try to get in touch with everyone else. You know, the way we do it in Jamaica. Oh, you're here, you know, so and so. And people try to link you up with the other person to build, you know, try to build a community.
Right.
But it is really small. It is
Mm,
definitely nowhere close to a Florida or a New York. You know, yes.
I see. So is there any event that happens in the Seattle area that kind of unites that Caribbean community at one point, you know, at least once a year or maybe even twice a year or anything?
No, there are no events. What you do have though is there are a few nightclubs that have what you would refer to as Caribbean night, and they they would play reggae music, but really cultural reggae music, you
Okay.
know, and they play actually more Hawaiian reggae as well, African reggae, you know, and a
Okay.
little bit of Trinidadian soca. You'll get that in the mix. But
Okay.
you find that most of the music they play is really vintage, you know, not
Okay.
modern, you know,
Okay.
and that would be the spot where you would find well, Caribbean people coming together, you know. But
Right.
there is no event like a soca fest or
Okay. Or carnival or
or a
Caribbean.
carnival. None of that
Okay.
here. You
Okay.
know, and it could be because of the weather. I don't know. I'm just assuming.
So that was another question I had. How are you adjusting out there to that type of weather where, from what I understand, and I've been to Seattle before, and
Yeah.
they said, and people said when you came, you're very fortunate because they had seven. I was there, I think 5 or 6 days,
Uh-huh.
and there was sun. The sun was out every day, and they're like, you brought it with you.
Yeah.
So how do you adjust to that?
Well, I got a little bit of training. I got a little bit of exposure between New York, Dallas, and Japan. You know, you get a little bit of exposure to that. So, I mean, Seattle gets cold, but what Seattle is really known for is rain. And it rains about 152 days out of the year. So I mean, it is wet all the time, most of the time. The thing with Seattle is if you come here in the summer, you will never leave. It's beautiful. Everything you can do, every outdoor activity, fishing, hiking, biking, which I do a lot. Riding my bike. You can go whale watching, all of these things. But when it hits October, going into the winter, like right now, oh, it is not, it's not the time you want to visit.
Well, I came, I think, right when, and there's seasons. There's actually seasons there. I think
Yes.
I came right when it became okay. I don't even know seasons myself. Is it winter, spring? I think, or right there. So
Yeah.
it was lush and green. That's all
Yes.
I remember, it being
Yes.
really lush and green,
Yes.
and passing by brooks and rivers and those
Yes.
kinds of things.
That sounds like the springtime, because in the winter time, you get about 7.5 hours of sunlight. In the summertime, you can get about 16 hours of sunlight. So it's a total opposite. It can really get depressing in the winter time. But
More hats off to you. I can't imagine not seeing the sun for maybe 7 days, even 3 days not seeing the sun. It's like, what's going on? So
well, the
I can
fortunate
imagine.
thing for me, the fortunate
Right,
thing for me is in the job I do, and you know what I do.
right.
I get a chance to get out of it whenever I want.
Well, that's true. That is true. That is true. I
Yeah.
went back up. I forgot to mention. Let me back up because Wayne here is a music man, and I've been
Uh-huh.
encouraging him for years. Encouraging him to get out there and start a little YouTube. This is a man that do mixing and so on. So, I just have to drop that in there. He won't say it, but I will. So I drop in that in there.
Yes.
So I have a question in terms of what is typical Washington, Seattle food. Maybe there isn't. Maybe it's just American. But I know some states are kind of different from what we think of. Oh, it's America. Everything is the same.
Yes. Seattle, the typical food would be like their barbecue.
Okay.
Seattle is not really known for any particular food. Seattle is known for coffee, Starbucks.
I
And I
see.
think we have more Starbucks here than anywhere else in the US. In fact, Starbucks was founded in Seattle.
Okay.
I don't know if you got a chance when you were here to visit Pike's Place Market.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so the very first Starbucks was created at Pike's Place Market way back in 1971, and it's still there. So it's known for its coffee, and there are a lot of things where, like the Space Needle in downtown Seattle. That's a landmark. But of course, a lot of people don't realize we grew up on a different kind of cartoon. I'm going to take you back a little bit. You remember the Jetsons?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so the Jetsons was based off of the Space Needle.
So right there in Seattle.
Right there in Seattle. So you look at the picture of the Jetsons when they're picking up Elroy,
Right.
and look at the Space Needle. That was the base, the actual city that they were having. Yes.
Okay. So, and you're moving right along into where I was going to go. If there is places that people should see if they visit Seattle or even Washington, what would you recommend and what time of year? I know Pike, the market there, the fish market is one. Maybe the Space Needle is another, but any other things you'd recommend and what time of the year? So we're not at the cowl.
Well, Mount Rainier, if you're adventurous, and you like being outdoor, Mount Rainier is a beautiful place to see. The Olympic Mountains, which is on the west side of Seattle, is another beautiful place to see. If they have the time, you can go whale watching. You can visit the Orca Islands, Bainbridge Island. All those places are nice. One-day trips. You can they have ferries which will take you by yourself or with your car, over on the island, and you can spend the day and then come back. So
Nice.
there's quite a lot of things to see here.
Right.
But I would recommend do come in the spring and the summer. So you don't hate me.
Cost of living. What's cost of living like out there?
I would say it's on the high side. It would be equivalent to I wouldn't say not a New York, but I would say like a Boca, Florida.
Yeah. Okay.
And also it depends on where you live. Xavier, location.
Yes.
You have great areas, and you have areas that are more than affordable.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So switching up a little bit now.
Mhm.
When you head to Jamaica, I'm giving a scenario. You land.
Yeah.
What is that first thing you are doing? It could be a visit to somewhere. It could be the food. It could be what's that first thing?
Well, usually the first thing is the food, and I'm going for breakfast, right? And I am going for. There are a few little spots that I have that maybe I shouldn't disclose it, but it's a great Jamaican breakfast with the ackee and saltfish and the banana and the dumpling. That is what I'm going for first in the morning.
All
right. Oh yes. Oh yeah.
Yellow. You didn't. I noticed you didn't say yellow yam. Are you?
And the yellow yam. The yellow yam is included, man. It's simple, but the yellow yam is included.
Because I don't think you see yellow yam out that side.
No, not unless I take it. I bring it here myself.
Okay.
Yes.
You stop in Florida and you just let me bring some yellow yam back or so on.
Can't live without the ground provisions,
Oh, I tell you, it's yeah. That's why we run so fast. The yellow yam.
Oh yeah.
Well, listen, Wayne, thank you for spending some time just kind of telling us about Seattle and the state of Washington. Any words of advice for anybody moving out or thinking of moving to the state and living out there?
Yeah, I mean, here is, remember, Seattle is also the home of Amazon. If you're into tech, it's a great tech city. As far as the cost of living might be a little pricey, but the pay scale is also up there. So it's a great place to be, if you can handle the winters.
All right, I will leave it. I will leave it at that.
There's one thing though, Xavier. I remember the first time I traveled to the States. I landed. This is a little funny story. I landed in Miami, and I'm looking around like, whoa, okay, this is it. And this guy walked up to me. When you come through immigration and you're waiting on your bag on the carousel to pick it up and go to customs. And this guy walked up to me and said, "What time is it?" And I told him the time. And he was waiting for his bag as well. And as soon as his bag arrived and he picked it up, 3 customs agents came over to him and just banged him up and took him away. This is my first time in the country now. I'm surprised and shocked, and I'm looking around. So when my bag came around, Xavier, I watch it come around and pass and go on another time. just to make sure. So, you know, I just
Oh,
figured I'd share that one with you.
what a welcome. What a welcome.
I tell you, you know, but Xavier,
Yeah,
great talking to you.
great.
Continue doing the great work that you're doing.
No,
You know,
man. Thank
really
you,
appreciate
you all folks that are out there that can share these experience, make this program what it is.
Thank you, sir.
I appreciate you, and I can say this, fervent, my brother.
Opus in campus. Thanks
Take care.
for having me, Xavier. Have a good one.
Show us some love now. Hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit that notification bell. That way you don't miss a video.